When I'm walking down the
I do want to say to Doni and many of you in this room that over a very long career in this city, all of you have helped me and my colleagues tell the truth and to try to tell.
I may not look like you and you me, but
my head up.
I'm from South Carolina, so I just...
What does this event mean to you, Miss Peggy Moss?
Oh, my heart.
Happy 20th anniversary.
My heart is about loving up on my sisters. Do you know what it feels like to have your sisters in the room? Johnny.
And that'll be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. I am beautiful, I am blessed, but not just what you see in the flesh. I'm free from people, free from myself.
The doctor lived next door to the janitor, to the reverend, and the lawyer. We were together. Now we get so high and mighty that you create stress for your society because you don't like poor black folks either. That's a health problem. Get yourself together so I can stop being taking care of geriatric people and get back to pediatrics. I thank you, Doni, for all you've done. Let's keep doing it all the more.
Letting His glory shine through. That'll be you, that'll be me, that'll be different and unique. I'm gonna be the best me I can be by letting His glory shine through. And I dare you, I dare you, I dare you to be you.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover. Entered the winner for the long haul, baby. We're with the one and only Quida, Chancey, my Spellman sister. Good morning to you. How you feeling?
Hey, hi, hello, Doni. Hi, Black News USA. I am good. I am up. You see, I got my big hair. It's spring. Spring has sprung. The blooming
you got big
is
hair than what I
blowing.
got.
I can give you some. I got a little bit to spare.
What they call them, the Beijings?
I don't know nothing about that, Doni. I'm not talking about that nonsense.
I saw a cat with a Beijing. I was like, your hair look real black.
I don't know nothing. I don't. Look, if you like it, I love it.
Is that your real hair? Not you. I'm talking about the Beijings. You know, they had to spray paint the beard. It's like,
It look like tar sometimes. Like, it's too much.
yeah. You like 60 years old, ain't no gray at all.
Look, if you like it, I love it. Hey, Tampa.
That's Michael Randolph. That man is the first one to sign in every day. And there's Naja. Naja, if you want a code, just hit me up. I got the thing right here. Naja hit you in the middle of Thanksgiving dinner. I need a code. I'm just pulling a lot. That's Naja from the land of Kush. You eat vegan?
I do. I am not a vegan, but every now and again I participate in a meatless Monday or but I've always liked veggie meals. Like, I'll take a big old salad over a burger most days.
30 minutes. So Naja, she's on a bunch of stuff. She's a native New Yorker.
She's a native New Yorker. What part of New York is she from?
The Bronx.
The Bronx, Boogie Down Bronx. I have a friend there that has a condo. Yeah, I've been to the Boogie Down Bronx. I've been there.
I was there.
I was born in Manhattan, though.
Oh, okay. Is that a little more upwardly?
It might be. I don't know, but I rep Baltimore. You bring up New York more than I do.
Any ghettos in Manhattan?
Probably. I mean, Harlem. Harlem is in Manhattan. Once upon a time, it was a ghetto. I mean, but you know what gentrification is.
Hey, listen,
you know how that works.
We do not get me cut. I did not say that, Harlem.
No.
But I was in the Bronx once, and they took me to Co-op City.
Mm-hmm.
They took me to Co-op City, and I was like, "Oh, these projects! Oh my God!" The whole mood changed, and I was like, These are not projects. These are condos. Okay, my bad, boo.
Right, because they look real. They look different. They look different than our condos. They look different. It's that's why you need to travel. That's why I encourage people to travel, because the culture, like we say the projects, we say Latrobe Homes, we say Perkin Homes, we speak truth to power, right? Like those are public housing entities. And
Oh,
when it comes
now
down to it, what do you say? Hold you down. Oh, yeah, see? Yeah, I see it. I see it. Yeah, Smalltimore Homes. See, we out here. But the point is the culture of the different places. Like we call it like we see it. It is the house subsidized. Then we consider it like the project. But it
you
doesn't have to
know
be
Naja.
called that. We can change the language.
She says you know her.
I probably do, Miss Naja Wright Brown. And she said she was born in Manhattan too. She said she was living in the Bronx at some point. Right, because at the end of the day, New York City, I know we lived in Queens at some point. We lived in Newark, which is New Jersey, not necessarily New York, but they're all right there. It all does what it
What's up
does.
with Newark? Now
Oh my God. They're gentrifying Newark as well. My father grew up there on Prince Street in the hood of the hood. And we went back to visit and what we used to call the projects, or not even the projects, but like the housing that we lived in. They done put up fences around it. It's like a whole gated community. It's a different vibe. They're redoing all the schools right there in Newark, redoing the paves of the roads, new
one
sidewalks, new
question.
trees.
I have one question. Do they have bike lanes?
They do have some bike lanes. They do have some.
That means that we are not welcome back.
They do have some bike lanes. So why do you feel like that is unwelcoming to us?
It's a signal that the white people are coming.
Oh, well, I mean, we're 12% of the population.
They
They're
are
going to be
coming and
everywhere
that
we
we are
at.
leaving.
I mean, if we choose to do so, right? Like, are you saying that we can't afford any of the gentrification? We can't stop any of it?
When they come back, at least those people who are part of that effort, they seemingly have no expectation, no interest in bringing us back. They
Yeah,
call it
that's a good
workforce
point.
housing, affordable housing instead of subsidized housing. This is Brandon Baines. Brandon, we had a wonderful conversation, and he and his partner are interested in taking the Joe Mann's Black Wall Street Award to the next level.
I love that.
And I'm willing to step back, give up the reins. Because if we're not passing the ball, then what are we doing? We hogging
What are we
the
doing?
ball.
What's the point?
We're dribbling
What's
the
the point?
ball, and the clock is running out.
Right.
All of that to the side. My Spellman sister. We're going to get into Smalltimore Homes, but having a daughter and now a granddaughter, and then maybe even a second granddaughter. Tell me about Spellman. How did you get to Spellman?
Tell you about Spelman. So I grew up knowing that I was going to go to Spelman. My mother went to Spelman, so we're a legacy family. My niece will probably go to Spelman. My godmother lived in Atlanta at the time, and
So you had home cooked meals when you were there?
Yeah, I had family that had moved down there. I had aunties that were there and cousins. My grandmother who lived in Brooklyn most of my life in Starrett City, she moved down to Atlanta a few years after I was at Spelman, and now she has a home down there. But a lot of my family is basically migrated to Atlanta.
So tell me that others in New York moved to Atlanta and it's all slow and everything, and you talking real fast, and everything shuts down, and they don't sell this on Sundays. I mean, how was it for a New Yorker?
I don't know because Donnie, I grew up in Baltimore.
Yes,
I
that's right. That's right.
graduated from high school in Baltimore. I learned to drive in Baltimore. This is why I claim Baltimore. I let people know I was raised in born in New York, but I couldn't tell you how to get around. I don't know where the A train, the D train. I don't know nothing
I know
about that
where
kind
it's
of
at.
stuff. Like I just need to be like, let me just put it where it ain't where you from, it's where you at. When I was in Atlanta, I repped Atlanta. When I'm in Baltimore, I rep Baltimore. I mean, wherever I am, it's my hood. I'm travel, baby.
The native Atlantans that lived around Atlanta University, they didn't seem to really appreciate us Morehouse brothers. And then, not all of the Morehouse brothers are the same. Some of the Morehouse brothers can actually walk through West End. And then some of the other Morehouse brothers,
I mean, but it's like that everywhere, right? I feel like it's like that in Baltimore.
Especially if they come with a different old outfit, you know what I'm saying?
Donnie, no, but listen, the worst part is by the time I went there, like in the early 2000s, some of the girls, hey, Marty Ma, some of the girls were getting robbed as they walked past the project. So it wasn't restricted
but not
to just
no Baltimore girls.
Nah, none of my homegirls got robbed. Nah, we keep our head on the swivel.
Okay, where we at? We not getting got.
We keep our head on the swivel, and that's what I say. Like, if you look like you don't belong, if you look like a mark, somebody is going to get you. You are going to get got if you look uncomfortable, and people will call you out.
Experiences in Atlanta. Nobody. You got to blend in with the people, first of all.
Always, everywhere, but that's everywhere. Like, and you can be authentic, you can be an individual, but again, culture matters. And so traveling and respecting the culture and doing what everybody else is doing and looking like you belong is what it's about. And so, yeah, so in Atlanta, I found myself at Spelman. My mother went there. My grandmother went to Morgan. I knew I was going to go to a HBCU. All the women in my family are educated. But then, Donnie, when I was old enough, like I spent a bunch of my summers in New York. When I was old enough, I was like, oh, Atlanta is country. I want to go down there with them country bumpkins. I'm going to school in New York. And I applied to like 7 different schools, Pratt, New Jersey Institute of Technology, New York Institute of Technology. But when I visited the campus, none of the people looked like me. I didn't feel welcome. And I went to Spelman to visit the campus. It was on a market Friday. And if y'all know, like I know, in the AUC on Fridays, it goes down on Spelman's campus. Okay, we have a DJ, we got the food truck. Like, it is on and popping. And I was there for that. And I said, this is where I need to be. And the rest is history.
So I don't even, you're going to laugh at me, but they showed me one brochure of Morehouse. And it had Spelmanites in cheerleading outfits.
And that's what sold you? That's what made you go to Morehouse?
And they were standing right at 830 Westview Drive. I mean, hey.
Look, you know what? If you like it, I love it. If that's what drew you in, and it wasn't the fact that MLK went there, or that it's a prestigious HBCU,
I saw
all these things matter.
Dr. King. I was like, oh, okay.
I love it. I love it. And so let me answer Naja's question. Naja said she wanted to know what's the target market or demographic that Smalltimore Homes is filling. So at the end of the day,
why don't you just come on in? I'm gonna put the link here because Naja, why don't you run this interview? Because apparently I ain't.
Well, when she said 30 minutes, she said 30 minutes. She needs like 15 more minutes. So when she come on, we can keep talking about that. Did you want to tell about your Morehouse experience? I mean, Spelman was dope. I'm here for it. HBCUs, I would say go there. Whatever that looks like. Go ahead, Donnie.
The greatest thing I experienced was, besides meeting Coretta, I saw Edwin Moses, but it was the Nile Valley Conference. And any serious history student can appreciate the Nile Valley Conference. Craig Talley and I were talking about it a couple of days ago. So this brought in Ivan Van Sertima. It brought in Chika Diop, or at least he was listed, but he didn't actually make it, to my recollection. That was 30-some years ago. I remember my roommate was a history major, and I was like, come on, roommate. I don't put his name out there because I would hate to hear him crying. I can't believe you said my name. I was like, come on, roommate. His name was Leo. Come on, roommate, let's go to the Nile Valley Conference. He said, man, I ain't going to that. Now, we lived off campus, so I was every bit of a 45-minute walk from campus. And sometimes I could catch the bus, and sometimes I had to walk. Plus, the bus went around. It wasn't like you're going straight up and you make a left. No, the roads in Atlanta were laid by cows. That's what it looked like.
Look, urban planning is everywhere, Donnie. I'm not doing this, but you finish your story. Talk about the roads with
the Nile Valley Conference. It just brought in the brightest Black history intellectuals, and Chika Diop, to my recollection, was into the science. So he could look at our DNA and trace our lineage back to Africa. So much, he was a reminder. Dr. Asa Hilliard, I think he was a professor at Georgia State. And I got to put a shout out to our history professor at Morehouse, Dr. Leroy Davis from the streets of Washington, D.C., Vietnam veteran. But Dr. Davis and everything we learned from him was all about us knowing our history to the extent that we would not ever allow someone else to tell us our history, because that's what America does. You're Black and you're Native American. Wait a minute. Suppose I'm Native American and Black. So then some people will tell you, well, you can't be Native Americans because Native Americans came from Asia. Well, some did. But if you look up Luzia, Luzia, down in Brazil, you find that she's 12 to 14,000 years old, and she walked across the southern tip. And if you trace back our DNA, special thank you to my Morehouse brother, Robert Scott, you'll learn that the oldest DNA, go look it up, that's deoxyribonucleic acid. The oldest DNA on the planet goes back to Namibia, to the San Bushmen. And you can picture the San Bushmen by thinking of Nelson Mandela. Do you notice how his eyes are like that? So we'll meet a Black person whose eyes are like that, and we'll say, you have Chinese eyes. Wait a minute. If you older than the Chinese have your eyes. So that's what Morehouse was about. Empowerment. Dr. Leroy Davis was not big on corporate America, although it is important that we understand corporate America. And you think of Robert Smith. It's so much bigger.
Right. No. And I'll add to that, Donnie, like to your point, Smalltimore Homes, we find housing for folks who are unhoused. And that is not where money is. But I have to be mindful that this is a capitalistic society. So if I'm not participating in the capitalism, much like, let's be clear, much like in the 1600s, when slavery is what ruled the world, everybody had to participate in it. So when they show us the kings and the queens that were selling their people or their enemies, we have to understand that, one, slavery was different, like for Africans in the way that American and British culture has made it. Like
British,
we
Spanish,
weren't torturing folks.
Portuguese, the Belgians, the Germans.
All of it. But everybody had to participate, right? And that's how our Black behind.
They didn't have to. They chose
No,
to.
But Donnie, no. Let's be real.
Don't forget the Arab.
Let's be real. If we don't participate in capitalism today, what happens? You end up being homeless.
You don't have to participate in trafficking people.
So what? So if you were not, how do you think that these people made money? Tell me how you think they survived.
I want to share with you this one tidbit of history that will change the entire complexion of the conversation. Christopher Columbus, 1492. Before he got in the ship to come across the water, who financed his mission? It was Queen Isabella and Ferdinand. of
Okay.
Spain, and it was also the Portuguese. Christopher
The
Columbus,
Spaniards and the conquistadors. Yeah.
the Spanish and the Portuguese. So Christopher Columbus was actually a shyster because he was taking money from both of them for his trip.
Okay.
For 800 years up until that point, what was going on in Spain and Portugal? The Moors were dominating the Iberian Peninsula. Black Moors controlled Spain and Portugal for 800 years. If you look up Moors coat of arms, Europe,
I'm familiar.
you will see more royalty on every European nation, from Germany to Scotland to England, Spain. There was black royalty all across Europe. And so Ferdinand and Isabella came in after they kicked out the last Moor from Spain. So if you are the white people who are left in Spain and you just kicked out all of the black people, but now Columbus is cashing in on, because they want, these silly little children want to say that Columbus discovered something. No, he didn't. Columbus, what a jerk. I'm on the air. Don't call me this time of day. Okay. The Moors had been trapped. The Moors for 800 years had been controlling the waterways. So Columbus didn't discover anything. Columbus was more like, hey, Donnie, can you take me where y'all been going? Because the Moors had already been to the Americas. Mansa Musa from Mali, the richest king.
Okay, right. But my point is the Moors didn't participate in slavery, and therefore they don't exist anymore. Because my point is the global way that money was made was trafficking black people, trafficking people from Africa, trafficking Africans specifically, right?
There were other ways of making money.
I mean, yeah, you could be a blacksmith, but you could build houses, but like,
don't justify them people's trafficking.
I'm not justifying anything. I'm speaking to what history has shown us.
They were damn cannibals who the Moors had taught them how to wash and bathe.
This is all true. Taught doctors how not to kill women who were birthing women. Like, that was a big thing. So I'm familiar, Donnie. Like, I get but what we have to be clear about is that at some point, I don't know the history because I don't care. Not I don't care, but I don't have enough tabs open to keep that kind of information. But in the 1600s, it was worldwide. Like, it is the idea that it was okay to traffic Africans was just the norm.
I have to insert with what my father said. He said the first person you need to be mad at, and I've said it on this show before, so if you're a first-time listener, don't be shocked. He said the first person you need to be mad at are those greedy-ass African kings who sold your people.
I wasn't there for that. I can't dispute that
somebody was a traitor. Somebody felt it okay to trade people for spices, rum, guns. Somebody felt it okay. Now, I just want to say for the record,
right?
It ain't like white people all in love with each other either, because we've seen the British against the Irish, the British against the Scots. We've seen the Germans against other Europeans.
Okay.
Because, a lot of times we say, oh, black people don't stick together.
I don't say that. I don't say that, but somebody do. Okay. Right. It's always greed. Like, at the end of the day. And so
America, all of the cocaine in the world, then why are your people breaking their neck to leave? Why are you not feeding your people?
I can't speak to that either. What I
Why
can
are you
speak
not
to
feeding your
is
people? You got
what
all
I
this
do here
money.
in Baltimore.
You making all these videos with the big stacks of money. Why are your people leaving? Why don't you feed your people? Greed. So it's really beyond race. It's just mankind's greed and womankind's greed. The fact that I think I should have this, and if I gotta step on your neck or kill you or kill your children, so be it. Like Donald John Trump. Would you think when they indicted him in New York? Al Bragg? Al Bragg put it to him. They say you don't have a case.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. I never we'll see what happens. I'm not a politician. I'm just out here for the community. I can't speak to Donald Trump and his foolishness and his nonsense because Donald Trump, the way that he is set up, it's not good for my mental. I don't have any tabs open for him. I don't know why they elected him. I don't know why they let his homies run up on the White House like that. Like, all of it is kind of crazy to me. Like, I just, this
Very
world.
uncivilized.
It is uncivilized, honey.
You do know the steps are right there.
Bruh, like the steps, you can make an appointment, like all types of things.
Black people were not climbing any walls, especially if they got a pair of Ferragamos on.
Bruh, first of all, like what is storming the Capitol going to do? Like, first of all, we would have had targets on our backs. So I don't.
But they stormed to go in there and smoke a joint in an elected official's office.
Yeah, listen, Doni has. Speaking to what Nasha's saying, Doni has all the details on the politics. That's why I'm telling you that is not my lane. I'm not going to pretend to know anything. I don't have any tabs open for that. Give me all of the information, Doni. But what I want to be clear about is culture is caught, not taught. And so when you are born into a world where they are consistently
culture is caught,
not taught. So it's not something we need to talk about. It's not something that's a written rule. It's something that exists in the air and you become it. And so when people are selling folks and it is overlooked, then it is just par for the course. And that has been the continuous issue with Black bodies, and they continue to think that Black bodies are expendable. What's that?
Did you know that there were white slaves?
Yeah, there are slavery is as old as prostitution.
Slaves.
Like, let's be clear, slavery and prostitution, like all of these things existed before the 1600s, before the Bible, before like these are things that people have participated in forever.
Somebody got their jollies off going up into Africa. Look at Brazil. Well, yes. Brazil, America has 40 million Black people. Brazil got 100 million.
When they went to Africa, we were not fighting with the tools they were fighting with. And if you did not comply, it's get down or lay down, Caesar. It's much like the drug game. You're going to participate or you're going to get out the way.
Well, that's why I love to talk about Haiti. Do you know that Haiti symbolizes the most successful slave insurrection and overthrow in the Western Hemisphere? That's why you will never hear anything good about Haiti in your lifetime, because Toussaint Louverture and his lieutenant Jean-Jacques Dessalines, they like
the French decimated Haiti. Yeah.
What was their boy? Napoleon Bonaparte. He had his arse whipped up and down the block. Napoleon got his arse whooped up and down the block. Up and down the block. That's why Haiti is the most respected tribe in the Western Hemisphere, because they kicked them out, all the way out. And that's why they're making Haiti pay restitution to this day. You making me pay restitution for making you take your foot off my neck. That's the audacity. So when Hillary and the Clintons and the Clinton Foundation go to Haiti and start pimping Haiti, start making money off of Haiti. Oh, we're here to help Haiti. Come on, go on with that bug.
Not just right. Like it's all about power, class, controlling people, capitalism, the greed, the money. Like it doesn't matter who's being harmed or what type of trauma is continuing or what type of
But
nobody even cares.
That's what I don't understand. You got black grandmothers, black mothers putting their breasts in a white baby's mouth. But then you gonna tell that same black person they can't drink out the same water fountain as you. That's a part of the psychosis that comes
right,
with,
because it's not a mental illness. It's like intentional oppression.
it has become mental illness. I think racism is a mental illness.
I think so the way you feel about me saying that folks had to participate in slavery is the thing about this being a mental illness. Like y'all are choosing this. Y'all are choosing to behave this way. Like you benefit from it, and I don't know. I question the mental illness
want to say
of it.
we're the royal family. Well, hold up. Y'all was having sex with your own cousins.
That's not royal to who? Like what? Where? Who said? Why? I mean, okay, and royalty and what? So what? Like, who cares?
Many of the Africans, so if one tribe beat another tribe, then who was a princess and a queen today, she's now a slave. A lot of us have royalty in our lineage, but we've been cut off from 400 or 500 years of our history. When I first got to Africa, I remember telling this man in Tanzania, I'm the first one from my bloodline. I'm sorry, folks. I'm on the air, Kenny.
Why your phone not on silent though?
I apologize. I just thought everybody that knows me know that and these people have been on my show. Richard, Kenny, they've been on the show. Kenny.
Well, Donnie, if they like me, they might think of you at about 9 o'clock. Anytime that I want to text you, it's about 9 or in between 9 and 10, and then I have to remember to text you later because I know you are on air. So you trigger the 9:30 thoughts, bro.
You do no harm. In my book, I was telling a very special lady just last night how you have come to Sandtown. You have helped us clean up. You have helped us pick up needles off of the playground. You have advocated. You weren't in a rush. You weren't scared. We have people who represent this area from a political standpoint who are afraid of our neighborhood. There are people who say, oh my God, you live where Freddie Gray got killed. Oh my God, oh my God. And it's like, you really haven't even been here because we really have a beautiful neighborhood. But that's the power of the media. And that's why we do this whole Black USA thing.
Right. Media is a beast. So again, culture is caught, not taught. So when you treat people like animals, they behave like animals. You treat people with respect, they often start by giving you respect back. So I show up in places, whether they're Black, white, male, female, Indian, purple, green, gray, he, she, they, them. I don't care. Like, we here to build community. I don't care what that looks like, but folks need housing. And the way that the system is created is against us. So we need to work together. And that's how I show up. Like, ain't nothing to be afraid of. These are humans. These are people. Like, y'all speak English. I can talk to you, right? Like, come on. To me, it's common sense. But also, Donnie, just running it back. Going to an HBCU and learning about the African diaspora and how that has impacted the way that the world operates today, I think that is very helpful to folks, especially those who were raised in America, where the history is revised and it's all these white saviors that were influenced by Black folks that were rewritten or never even mentioned in history books. That's what I learned at Spelman. The people who were behind some of these white saviors, to your point, the Moors, and how they changed the way that doctors were washing their hands in Europe because women were dying after having babies, because these fools were dipping and dabbing in cadavers, learning, and then going and operating on people and not washing their hands. So something as simple as washing your hands between operations came from the Moors. So yes, they taught people how to wash properly. They were, I'm not going to get into that because that's not my lane. But yes, the culture of it all is something that we have to understand, that is controlled by media. And so the way that we speak to one another, traveling to Africa is crazy because they expect love and hip hop when I'm a refined Spelman woman. Like, I need y'all to not put me in a box and get to know me.
We were supposed to talk about Baltimore Homes, but I got to ask you, when you mentioned culture, I was having a discussion with my engineer at WEAA. He recently went to Dubai, and he said that they know us by, they might call the dudes Jay-Z or call the women Beyonce. And I've been reminded it's because those people are high up in the media.
Oh, that's been the case.
I have a problem with, if the only thing you know about Black America is Jay-Z and Beyonce.
Donnie, your girl, okay? I'm in my 40s, so I've been traveling for a minute, okay? I've been to over 20 countries, and often, first and foremost, they're always like, y'all Black folks together must be a rap group. Y'all must be entertainers. Like, nah, we're just smart and know how to maneuver and get passports and travel and like, nah, no. But they always assume you must be an entertainer because it can't be your brain. What song I sing? I can't sing. I'm not here for your freaking entertainment. Like, nah, I'm here to enjoy and embrace the culture.
That's a part of what we are up against, the media imagery. And so when we do get our superstar athletes, and God blesses them with money that their mama's mama never had.
But that's all they expect from us.
That's my point. I read a story just yesterday about a cat 2 years out of the NFL and he broke. Went from 31 million to zilch. Give me 1 million. Give me $500,000. I'm going to show you how to work that money. 31 million and broke. Somebody should be kicking it. He should get his ass kicked for at least 3 years.
I mean, well, here's the thing. Just because you amass wealth, you don't learn how to be financially intelligent. Just because you amass wealth.
He wanted to be Jay-Z. What is that? What the hell is that?
I mean, it's something to aspire to. That's why representation matters, right? So if what he sees is Jay-Z and that looks like success for him because nobody in his block is looking like success, so be it. But then we also have to understand that Jay-Z, Diddy, Beyonce, they all have teams. They're not doing this by themselves. They have a whole accountant. They have lawyers. They have attorneys. Like, those are the things we need to recognize, that those are a part of the foundation. Even when you're just a small business owner, a solopreneur, you need to know who your banker is, have a relationship with your bank, have a relationship with a CPA, an insurance person, an attorney. Like, these are things that are taken for granted, and they're free resources in Baltimore. Hit up smalltimorehomes.org if you don't know, where you can get free resources for your, excuse the language, bail teams. That triggers some folks, but your banker, your accountant, your insurance, and your lawyer. All right, smalltimorehomes.org. All right, go back, Donnie. I'm sorry.
No, I like it. Good. Let's put up. Do you have a plug? Can you put your plug up, your Smalltimore Homes? We have more comments today. I need to bring you on more often.
Oh, you said that's not it. Take that down.
I'm sorry.
What'd you say? I got energy today. I need to be on more often. Donnie, don't get smart.
No, I said
don't get smart.
We're getting hits from everywhere. Dr. Eric Holmes, Brandon Baines. So let me tell you what you and Brandon Baines have in common. You're both in the real estate. Brandon is doing projects in both Atlanta and Baltimore and probably in between. And he understands real estate. Keith Clinkscale said once at a Black Entrepreneurship Weekend that you get rich between 3 areas that you can get rich in: media, that's my field; banking; real estate. Media,
Okay.
banking, real estate.
Let me speak to all of those. Real quick. I don't have a book yet, but I'm following in Donnie's book footsteps. One day, go ahead, plug the book. One day I'm gonna have a book. Boom, go ahead, put it up to the let them see. Hold on, there we go. Unapologetically Black, getting tongue tied. But I have been featured in some books, and when people feature me, I shout them out and represent them. But yes, I get paid to speak, even though I don't have a book yet. So boom. Okay, real estate, you already know, Smalltimore Homes, but before Smalltimore Homes, Xavier Estate, Real Estate Solutions. I have a boutique real estate firm. I invest my retirement funds from my previous life. I was an IT everything. I did all the things. Started the website, ran all the things. But that's the past life. We're never going back to corporate America. But to that point, I use that as a foundation to do what I want to do today. I invest in real estate in Baltimore. I would love to talk to Brandon about some tiny home communities down there, because the real estate is it's not as anyway. And so what did you say? You said the speaking, the media. All right, we got that covered.
Real estate, banking.
Oh, banking. Okay, so I'm not a banker, but my retirement funds is what I use to invest in properties. So I can be the bank for a particular job if it, if my budget affords it. So in a few cases, like I fund deals. And so I'm not the bank, but I can be a bank, and other people can do that too. So instead of you putting your money in, or in addition to, I'll say in addition to, but for me, and instead of you putting your money in the stock market, I put my money in real estate and invest in other small developers that are doing stuff right here in Baltimore. So that's something that I coach people on privately. I get paid to do that though, but community work I do for free. I show up and clean up with Donnie and do whatever needs to be done, because I have that privilege. Like, it's a privilege for me to be able to do that, because I suffered through corporate America, but also I was smart enough to do what needed to be done. These fools don't know me as Quida Chancey. They know me as LT Chancey, because I recognize bias. Like, all of these are things that are a part of my story and will be in my book. But, I feel like those things are knowing how to speak about yourself. For anybody that's listening, if you can articulate, your story, your path, your testimony, people will pay you, because so many people are lost and just trying to figure it out. So I'm gonna leave that alone. Thank you, Donnie.
Well, thank you. So many thoughts come to mind. Black people have privilege too. Yeah.
Yes, and then going to Spelman, that's a privilege. Like, folks love to tell me that Spelman is not a real HBCU, and
why would they say that?
Right, it's supposed to be a compliment. Like, Spelman operates like a private white institution, and this, that, and the other, as if Spelman is aspiring to be a private white. No, Spelman is a historically Black college for Black women, but other women.
Never heard that before.
Listen, that's because, Donnie, I need people to understand. I show up like scratches, bruises, whatever. I show up as I am. And so people don't cartel what they want to say when they're speaking to me, because I want the real. Like, tell me exactly what you're thinking, because I need to know where your head is at. And so people are comfortable with telling me the craziness, and I get told craziness all the time.
So let's show them something that they're not expecting. Can you tell us how a customer, how you finance your customers' micro homes?
So that's something that we're working on. But what I can say is, for me, yes, it is a privilege to be featured on Black News USA from Naja in the comments. But I will speak to this. The micro homes are funded by the community. So I show up in communities where there are already tents. And I say, yo, so who allows these tents to be here? Does the community know you? And let me speak to someone who lives in the community, is paying taxes, does have a phone, somebody that I can communicate with to make sure that these people are going to continue to be supported and have wraparound services. And so at that point, we find out if the community does continue wanting to support them. And what I mean by community is not that one person whose number I got. Like, now we're door knocking. Now, okay, all right, Pharaoh, I hear you. But now we're door knocking and we're talking to people about there's about to be a little pop-up situation over here of micro shelters. What can you do to participate, or are you against it? Like, come to these listening sessions, at least 3, at most 10, so that we can get everyone's buy-in. Because at the end of the day, some of the work that I do, we're not finding out who owns this land. We're not getting permits. We're creating homes for people who are living in tents, and living in tents that's stupid to me. That is something that people do for fun on the weekend. It is not what we should be doing full time, and it should not be acceptable. But like I said, culture is caught, not taught. So we have been seeing these damn tents all my life, and at some point, people think it's okay for folks to be living in tents. So getting back to the money, because that's what matters, right? After I'm speaking to communities, I'm talking to them. I'm telling the people, this is what lumber costs now. This is how long this is going to take. And generally speaking, it takes us about 3 weeks to do a 8x8 shelter. We need at least 20 volunteers to show up each time. I bring the tools and we do what needs to be done. And then the community continues to maintain that situation. And I go on to the next thing until in the next 5 years, the plan is to acquire some land. I'm looking at an individual parcel now for just a demonstration plot. I'm going to need to raise between $30,000 and $50,000 for that. But this is a community organization. Smalltimore Homes is a nonprofit organization. The money is coming from the community and or some big funders that Doni might send my way. So that's where we're at. And I hope that answers your question. Doni, you still on mute because Pharaoh was he was getting right with us.
What is gap financing?
Gap financing is when that's kind of what I would do. But gap financing is when I go to Fulton Bank, and Fulton Bank is like, this is a dope idea, but how do these people going to provide, like, you are providing housing for folks who are unhoused, who don't have a job, who may not have skills. How is this going to work? The gap funding comes in when, like, I approach an Able or a Weinberg or a Brandon Baines, and I'm like, hey, I need $100,000 to offset the cost that they're looking for. They want me to show them.
Can we take that up a denomination, like $100 million? I mean, let's get to the millions.
Okay, I was okay. And if we need that 100 million, so the whole project is 100 million, but I can only get 80 million from the Weinbergs. That 20 would be gap funding. And that gap funding that could be community development, that could be grants, that could be private equity from a Donnie Glover, that could be anything. But the gap funding is what the traditional banks won't provide and what my clients also can't provide. It's filling in the pieces where people are like, girl, how you gonna make this work? This sounds like a crazy idea. Yes, hello, Miss Naja.
I'm gonna mess Doni up. This is your show. I ain't supposed to be on here.
Look, and then he done fell off. He plays so much.
I'm like, this is your show, man. Like, I'm just asking questions. I met you. I don't know if you remember. We were at.
Of course, I remember you.
And
Don't start.
Like, that was the first time I heard about. I'm like, yo, this is so cool. And then now, you got people getting into the tiny homes. As a matter of fact, our social media manager, she's in the tiny home now, and they've been moving state to state. So it's amazing to hear about this industry. That's why I asked about the target market and the demographic, like, because it's incredible.
It's for everybody, but it's for everybody. So to your point though, Naja, like my idea now is I've been working with the unhoused because that's who needs it the most. But it's bigger, like LGBT youth can have their own village.
Right.
Seniors can have their own village.
Right.
Mothers and children, solopreneurs, all of these individual marketed folks who can have a community where they feel welcomed and warmed and all of it. So I can't afford to put the houses right there now, but I'm building community in your Pigtown, in your West Baltimore, and talking to people like, hey, what is it that you want your green space, your community, your village to look like? Because I'm going to start with y'all. I'm not going to Baltimore City to talk to them just yet because I need to know what the community wants. This isn't a gentrification plan.
Right.
This is a sustainability plan for communities that are, you know, trifled with blight and vacancy and, you know, poverty, all the stuff that
right. And it's enough opportunity for us. I'm always amazed. I need to really dig into your organization and learn more about it and what's happening in that space, because real estate is definitely on my list of things that I want to invest and get into, you know, stocks and all that. I've done that, but this is, you know, and it's just, everyone's trying to size down. I'm not gonna say everyone. You got those folks that they're trying to cut costs and the rents are too much, and it's like we gotta save money.
It just makes sense.
Yeah,
it just makes sense. And then living smaller, you have smaller utility bills. It's easier for you to put solar or a watering catchment, composting toilets. So thinking of things that will continue to make the community better. So one of the issues with Baltimore is that we have lead infested everything, our water, our paint, our homes. And so with all of these vacant and abandoned homes, that is now leaching into the ground. So we can't grow food from there, all the things. But I can show up and say, hey, if this is something that you want to start to repair, maybe we can plant some mushrooms. Get the mushrooms to clean out the soil, and then we can start to till the soil, and now we can start to plant vegetables after the mushrooms have done what the mushrooms were supposed to do, right? So just starting small. You might not want to house people who are unhoused, but no, you might want a community garden or a beautiful green space or a community mural. Like Smalltimore Homes are just showing up to fill in the gap so that communities can continue to move forward without waiting on gentrification to take us over.
We gotta get some of your material down at the Vegan Soul Fest, either on the table or get you down there or something like that. Because yes, we gotta.
So you know Nicola Norman. Nicola's my good homegirl. She's participating in Vegan Soul Fest. If you don't know her personally, her thing is Garden of Nicola.
Oh,
but
okay.
you
should
come to. Yeah, I know you do. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
The same Nicola I think you're talking about. She worked for Land of Kush for a little while.
She probably did. I did not know her when that happened, but probably. Oh, look at that.
Brandon, how are you? I remember.
Oh, so wait.
Yes, Brandon.
Do y'all know my sister? I'm gonna just go ahead and put.
Center.
Y'all know Tamia Chancey? Do y'all know Tamia Chancey? That's my sister. Okay.
Donnie,
we'll
it's August 19th to the 20th, and we ain't charging $100 a day and all that. So, you know, we're at 7,000 tickets sold already since October.
What?
So we're hoping we really get to 10,000 tickets. We're talking about sold. Nothing has been given away for free yet. We working with the community on that. We're going to try to bless them over there. But right now, 7,000 tickets have been
sold. What community?
Cherry Hill, since it's going to be at West Covington Park. You know, a lot of the issues we had last year because the budget was so high and we had to pay bills. Ticket prices were high and we weren't getting the grants we needed to fund. We're trying to make this the official vegan food and music festival in Baltimore. National. We got people coming nationally, like from all over.
Is there like a space that I can park the first tiny home? Because I got a 20-foot tiny home on wheels that would be real cute. I think you should. I'm gonna send you the link.
Let's that might be
I'm gonna send you the link.
We're gonna have to take over that parking lot because that park is too small. So yeah, we really working on the expansion plan for this. I don't think we're gonna be able to be there next year because when I saw 7,000 tickets sold, I'm like, whoa, we ain't even in August yet.
That's beautiful.
Donnie, you better come this year. We gave you a VIP ticket last year. I ain't see you.
I want to be. What you got to do? How can I help? I want to be down.
We gonna talk offline. Let me put my number in there in the chat. Well, not
put it in the
comment.
I don't want put it in the private chat.
Got my number anyway. They
Put it in the private chat, not in the. Okay, and say the date again. What's the date again, Naja?
It's August. I'm gonna put in the general chat too. August 19th to the 20th. We've already booked Dwell A to perform Saturday. We're trying to figure out what's going to go on Sunday. And the website is vegansoulfest.com. So I'm just saying, city was mad at us. They didn't feel we represented the city last year, but it was a beautiful event for everybody. What
do you mean they feel you didn't represent the city? Like what?
People's like the ticket prices were high, and not that it was intentional for us to do that. It's just the budget. Our budget used to be one thing when it's a community fest. As soon as we brought it up, and COVID didn't help. I'm like, yo, why is this thing crazy like this? And then we had that management team, so you got to pay for that and deal with all of those. It was crazy. Now we get things in place, and it's like budget's still high, y'all. We looking for sponsors. Get them tickets right now. Tickets are funding this festival. Ticket sales are funding Vegan Soul Fest right now. We have one presenting sponsor, Better Food Foundation. We're gonna shout them out. They are paying for Dwell A, for everything for Dwell A to be here on Saturday. Full band 1 hour performance. We need another headliner for Saturday, or we need some resources. Please contact me. We need to blow it out this year at Vegan Soul Fest, 10,000 plus strong. Coming down on South Baltimore and let them know Baltimore is representing that area. We over there, in there.
I love that. Yes. Show up and show out, y'all.
Oh, it's going to be crazy. Okay. It's going to be crazy.
I might have to come over to
Donnie, you better use them tickets. He didn't even show up last year. I'm going to get him.
I love this. And Nicola, she keeps talking about Vegan Soul Fest, so she's really excited about it too.
Yeah, it's we got 300 applications already for vendors that we're just now going through, and it's a selection process because it's not first come first. We got to go through. Do you have the light? We got to go through all of that. So we've sent out 70 contracts so far. So we got 30 more we can send, but people got to pay. If you don't pay, you ain't booked. Sorry.
So you got to pay. You got to have the right permits. You got to have your food care, all the stuff, y'all. Don't show up shorthanded. Show up ready to do business.
Yes, please. You got to pay for your spot. I'm not holding no spots. We're not taking down payments. We got bills to pay. Big bills. So you
big bills. Big bills. Donnie, are you going to come on and close us out? What you doing back there?
I know, right, Donnie? I'm just looking for a code. I'm looking for a code. My show coming on at 11.
I'm not fond of taking butt whippings.
I could drop off. Sis, man, I could drop off. You could kick me out because this is sis show.
I wouldn't dare. This is what this is about. It's about us. It's about community journalism. It's about us putting the messages out there. So, and Brandon does have some he's got some great DJs.
Oh yeah. Yes, please, Brandon and Donnie. I gotta get you on my show because you gotta talk about what you're doing.
Have you ever heard of Stop, Shop, and Save?
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's Brandon's granddad.
Right. That's where I know. Brandon. Sponsor. They got some vegan products in there. They holding the vegan milks and cheeses and all that stuff.
We can know Mr. Manhattan that constitutes an automatic plug for blackusa.news.
Okay.
And bemorenews.com. Now, let me also say thank you, Naja, for your years of support of bemorenews.com, and also your husband, Mr. Gregory Brown, and also your daughter, who is a legacy entrepreneur, Miss Pia.
Oh, yeah, she's 11 now. We're blessed to be open, Donnie. It's been a struggle, man.
She's a black belt. She a black belt?
Man, I'm trying to get her back in there. You know what I'm saying? She gonna
So
go
Naja,
there.
you're saying it's a struggle. How can people help besides coming to buy food? How can
The
people like?
restaurants, yo, man, like the cost of running a restaurant is very expensive at this time. I'm really blessed that we are still open because labor, operating expenses, taxes, food costs, you know, and we're one of them black businesses. We staying open. It's not like we closing this day and we these out. Greg refuses to close any hours and any day. He don't care how high the costs are going. I'm like, we gotta do something, yo.
Right,
We're gonna be in
right.
a tiny home in a minute. Like,
No, you're not. No, you're not. You're going higher and higher.
thank you for
Look,
that, Donnie.
Quida, you mentioned, I think you mentioned bail, that every business ought to have bail.
Mm-hmm.
That's a banker,
Yes.
an accountant, insurance, and a lawyer. Bail, B-A-I-L.
We got all of those. They ain't giving us no money though. So
No, but that's what some of these businesses need to start with because they don't have those and they'll come to apply to your thing and they didn't do their food safety course and they don't have a business bank account and they trying to do business out here. And it's like, you need to have these things. These are barriers, but they need to be addressed, right? Like you have to participate in these barriers in order to make money.
The people can support by just coming to buy food, catering. We're going to be at the BMA Sunday for the hip hop contemporary display at Baltimore Museum of Art this Sunday, and it's free. It's free.
What?
So go there Sunday with
Sunday what time?
Food. It starts at 10. I know the food distribution is going to start at 2. Black Sauce is going to be there. Takarka Brothers is going to be there with the ice cream. So if you're trying to get something for your kids to do on Sunday for free, go to BMA this Sunday.
You're going to be there.
Oh, absolutely. I saw the pre-display and it is amazing. So you're going to want to come and support and take a look.
I got to ask you two phenomenal black women, your thoughts on having a black woman vice president, a black governor, a black attorney general, a black treasurer, a black mayor, a black city council president, a black Baltimore city comptroller. My question to you is, we have blacks in all of these high positions, cracking the glass ceiling. How has all of that political mobility translated into the economic empowerment of our community?
I'll go and I'll let LaQuita go because she'll probably have a better answer than me. I don't vote for the government. I vote for me. So I don't really care what they're doing. I vote for me because I'm the one that got to walk these shoes and deal with this stuff in here. Now, I'll reach out if I need help here and there, but I'm not dependent on them to do nothing for me. That's how I'm saying it.
And so I will say that, yes, representation matters. I remember being a kid looking at all these white men like, Daddy, Mommy, where the black people that ran America? And they're like, ain't no black people or women run America. And it just blew my mind. So representation matters, right? But the system going to do what the system does. So until they are doing things that are completely outrageous and dismantling the system, like they just pieces of the puzzle. They're just gears that continue to turn, and the system's going to do what the system does. Because again, like I said, culture is caught, not taught. And when they show up in these rooms, they're going to probably do what their predecessors done because that is what was successful. That is what people accepted and was permissible. So I don't need their permission for anything. They need my vote. So I would love for them to show up to a Smalltimore Homes event or a combined vegan Smalltimore Homes event over at the store. So tell us where the store is so that people can come and buy food, Naja.
Land of Kush, landofkush.com. We're at 840 North Utah Street, right on the corner of Martin Luther King, close to the Hip Hop Chicken. So you can come right there and see us. We're right next door. And I appreciate your answer to that question because I didn't even think representation. You know why? Because action votes louder than words. You could represent, in the action. Some of those people have supported Land of Kush and ventures that I have been involved with. So I appreciate their support. I'm looking at the big picture about what's been going on, how many decades in this city and in Newark and, New York, whatever. Just it's too many poor people and too many people leaving out. Like, what are we doing about that?
Okay, here's the second question. I'd be very fascinated if you could get one of the two, if not both, of the Justins from Tennessee, Justin Jones, Justin Pearson. Any thoughts on these two young men who were both expelled from the Tennessee legislature and the fact that they made a stance and became instant heroes by the supermajority Republican Tennessee legislature filled with white males?
So we're amazing.
Yeah, I get
We're
slaughtered in politics with Donnie, so I'll pass that on to you.
again, it's not my lane, but all we need is access. All we need is opportunity. Like the fact that they were ousted is why they're being saluted and celebrated now. So the system is going to continue to do the BS that the system does. And so I'm glad that whoever reinstated them went through what it needed, did all the things to support them. But it annoys me because these men were doing what they were doing before they were voted out. And now that they were voted out and back in, we're all like, let's celebrate them. They should have been celebrated before for what they were doing because they didn't change anything. Like, and that was why they were not welcome there. So the system is going to keep doing what the system does, and they're going to keep putting out the little, not the little black guys, but the people that are, there to shake up the system. So that's my problem with it, that they're being celebrated because they were ousted. Like, give them their flowers. Like, celebrate people while they're doing what they're supposed to be doing when they're doing it, not after they suffered some trauma and bled all over the damn place.
It's so backward. I can't. It's too draining on me. I have my own problems, so it's really sad. So I got to be my own bank. I got to follow in that direction so that I can help more people get to where they have to go. Hey, blessings. Hope I'm praying that happens. And
I feel like that's how most of the Black women I know show up, and I thrive around Black women. So y'all should come to the community walk that we have at Lake Montebello. It's free, 99, Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. We walk around Lake Montebello with a physician. We do some mindfulness. We do some movement, and then we have a community conversation to see who's showing up and what kind of support and resources folks need. We can also promote the Vegan Fest.
Man, okay.
Last question.
Perfect.
Last question. What are your thoughts on the upward mobility of Black women?
Well,
Black women are breaking ceilings like never before, opening businesses more than any other American.
It's stressful though. It is so damn stressful. It's not easy. Go ahead, Naja. I'm gonna let you start. Go ahead.
Well, I was surprised in 2021 that Baltimore Business Journal recognized me as a woman of excellence, 1 out of 7. So, I mean, and I'm like, I was looking at these other people's resumes and things that they've done. I'm like, whoa, this is serious. Like, somebody recognized me for what I'm doing. Okay, that's a blessing. And then to be recognized as top 25 Black Marylanders and to watch in 2023, that was surprising as also. So somebody's watching and looking at something, whatever this little vegan movement and whatever I'm doing. Hey, I'm gonna keep moving.
Yes, if you like it, I love it. And the upward mobility of Black women, I feel like for about maybe the past 5 to 10 years, we've been the most qualified demographic or the most educated demographic. Like, so many Black women have doctorates, but yet we are still being paid less than white men, generally speaking, less than white men, Black men and white women, to be completely honest. So the upward mobility,
Black women make less than Black men. I mean,
yes.
So many Black men being incarcerated, is that a fact?
When we're talking about the IT field that I came from, I would have to work until August of this year to make what a white man made last year. I would have to work until, what was it? Not June, May of this year to make what a Black man made. And then I think white women are right behind or right next to Black men. Either way, I hear what you're saying, Donnie, right? But the statistics of it all is not matching the education and the awesomeness of the Black women that I know. So it's still very uneven. It's like everybody gets a participatory award. Like, I don't know how to put it, but
Man, I could
I
get
see
paid
it.
more. I don't even get paid enough. So, I don't, Land of Kush don't pay me. They can't afford it. And then my nonprofit, I'm probably making a fifth of what I should be making as an executive director.
What do you need, Naja?
I need grants. I need money. It's I could strategize and grow. I mean, I help grow Land of Kush. I help grow projects that I'm working on. Now I'm growing this nonprofit, Black Veg Society. I need funding. I need money. Like when I say 1/5, I'm working more than full time and getting a little 25,000 a year. There's ADs 85, 100,000 to like I'm working too hard, but because I love what I'm doing, I'm not
It's gonna be
concerned
done
about that.
anyway.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, Land of Kush can't pay me no more. We broke.
Well, you kick out some great food. Can you just list some of the items on the menu, starting with the vegan ribs?
Oh my God. So my husband is a self-taught chef. Shout out to Chef G Brown. Homemade barbecue sauce. It's a sweet barbecue sauce, because there's two types, smoky and sweet. We got a homemade sweet barbecue sauce on the barbecue ribs. Curry chicken. We have award-winning crab cakes. We have the collard greens. We make our own cheese for our mac and cheese, baked mac and cheese. We have things for everyone. If you're a raw foodist, the live kale is a winner. Love the live kale. We have fresh smoothies, fresh pressed juices, and then we employ from within the community. So you're not going to come up in here and see people and they're all going through trauma, so we can use some of that help too. We employ people second chance. You don't got to check the box, none of that stuff. You just got to be willing to serve customers and be here.
Well, see, this is what I'm saying. Considering
That's why I love Black women. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Listen, Quida, considering all that she's doing, including working with young people and people who have returned.
Just young, old, the old too.
All the people. All the people.
Well, so my question, Quida, is like, given all of these Black elected officials, nobody has looked at, oh, wow, we should invest in Land of Kush. We should invest in Smalltimore Homes. My point is, I've worked personally to help these people get into office, but we as a community have to develop our ask. Actually, we need to say, if you want my support, this is what we need from you. We need these things. We need a memorandum of understanding with the Black business community, but we can't do it after the election. You got to do it before the election, before they even get in.
But Donnie, I hear you. We have to organize, right? And so we're all in community, right? But if all the Black women are doing all the things and filling in all the gaps, and as you said, the Black men are either right there next to us or incarcerated, who is showing up to tell us how to organize? Like, we got to go to work. We got to make money. We got to pay bills. We can't.
I have some people for
it's a privilege to show up.
Fine. I really don't have time, and I've been called down there, and I can't. I'm so bad. I don't have I can't go down there and testify and do all this type of stuff that people. I just don't have the time. Leaders of a beautiful struggle, they do a great. That's what they do. I can't do that. I'm busy. We trying to pay bills over here.
And so that's what I think we need to figure out. How do we pay people to show up to give their opinion? Like, that's what we need the politicians to help us to fund. Because people can't show up for free. They can't show up if it's not a meal going to be offered. They can't show up if it's not additional resources. Like, people need to get paid for their opinion, regardless of if they actually want to hear it or not. But this is the problem. Like, how do we get people to show up and choose to come to the community to organize? Because we got to have conversations to organize. Like I said, when I show up to communities, we need to speak to them 3 to 10 times. And a lot of the people are like, we don't have time to come to any of these things. And it's like, but I need your feedback.
Yeah,
but we have to figure it out.
To go to every damn happy hour, every damn concert. And I get so tired. The politicians think they have us pegged. They give an event, they put out some fried chicken and some watermelon and a popping DJ.
Don't do that.
That's why you don't really see me at that stuff, because I don't have time. I really don't, and I love that. I don't have time
We
to
love
go to
a
these
party.
stuff.
We love a party. We are the best party attenders in the world.
I can't even make it. Like,
But we don't go
I
to a
can't.
PTA.
But you know the party I went to when CIAA was in town, and D Chase and them had the thing at the power plant. I went to that party because
I was in the house.
Because it was my birthday. That was it.
Yes, you got to celebrate yourself. You got to celebrate yourself at some point.
We party way too damn much, and our biggest ask is a bigger venue for a bigger party. We need to own some damn real estate, and we need to move some of these pieces and stop playing ourselves short.
You're right, but we party so hard because there's so much damn trauma. We party so hard because there's so much trauma. Like, I hear you, Donnie. I hear you, but we need more empathy for our people too, because they going through some things, and
we need a check.
Somebody loan us
$50,000. Come on and reach out to us. We're gonna get to give us the loan. And
we got some black gatekeepers, Naja. We have too many blacks in position for us to be struggling. There are black people who are in position, and they may need to be taken out back to the woodshed to get a little checkup from the neck up to remind them that to whom much is given, much is required. The services, the rent we pay for living, that if you aren't helping be a part of the solution, then you're part of the damn problem. And that little job you got in Annapolis, a city hall, it's only 4 years, boo-boo.
Mm-hmm.
My name's Donnie Glover, and this has been The Morning Show. Good morning, world.
Nice seeing you all. I need that code.
Thank you, Donnie.